Ho ho buddies, welcome to Borderline Games. I'm Gareth and today we're playing Beyond Our Rule Ripper, and last time we had the death of Cocktail and at the very least the disappearance of Piano, or maybe the death of Piano as well. There's 3 people left: cigar, billiards and coffee. What's going to happen? Let's find out what's going to happen. Let's find out. 3 players remained. Victory! Congratulations, Rule 4. The game has concluded with your victory. Check the rule menu for more details on the location of the final antidote. It was over. They were free. A barman touched the floor. No. No, 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 no! Cigar? What's wrong? The game was supposed to be over. What? It is over. There's only us 3. We just have to go get the final antidotes and... Then why? Why is that on my screen? Checking someone else's barman was forbidden, but the game had finished. Though still fearful, they took a look at the screen on the floor and read its message. You've broken Rule 4. You'll now be eliminated from the game. How? It's not possible. It has to be a bug. Mine says victory. Mine too. Why? Searching for an answer, he followed the message's instructions. Searching for an answer, he followed the message's instructions and went into the rules menu. With the elimination of Rule 3 and her antidote's removal due to breaking Rule 4, even if her death was not taken place yet, I declare the game was finished in order to avoid an unnecessary wait. Let me process that sentence again. With the elimination of Rule 3, that's cigar, right? And her antidote's removal due to breaking Rule 4, even if her death has not taken place yet, I declare the game as finished in order to avoid an unnecessary wait. Okay, the winner's antidotes will be brought down to the nearest delivery area. You've been granted access to a new map function that displays that location as well as the exits, which have been unlocked. It is highly recommended to reach the antidote post-haste before the poison takes away your newly freed life. That is all. Once again, congratulations. This will be the final message. Once you are outside the facility, all contents inside the barman will be automatically purged and the device will become unusable. The manager. Through tears, Bill read the message, barely being able to process it. He couldn't even pay any attention to the new game signing it. No, he couldn't even pay any attention to the new name signing it. Oh, it wasn't the owner, it was the manager. Not a single line giving an explanation for the injustice that was happening right in front of them could be found. I don't get it. My rule shouldn't matter anymore if the game is over. Did we misunderstand it? That can't be. Whatever it is, we have to get the antidotes. You're going to leave me here. You can come with us, but according to this, you won't have your antidote. I'm sorry. They both felt guilty, even if they had no idea why Cigar had been eliminated. Cocktail didn't take his life for this. Everything we did, just to be the only 2 left. Go. But... Go! If you don't get it in time, it'll be even worse. I'll... Oh? Please. Nice chords. I'd rather be alone. For your sake, too. You 2 aren't guilty of anything. Live on. Don't let our deaths ruin your lives. Leave this all behind and live free. Promise me that. Cigar turned around and slowly started walking away from them. Be it tiredness or the poison, it was plain to see she was having trouble doing so. That by itself was painful to see. Bill wanted to reach out, offer help, but he turned his back. Coffee, on the other hand, still had her eyes fixed on Cigar. It was time to return the favour. Bill touched her arm and... Let's go. So Cigar's dead as well? I'm so sorry. Chris, Nico. Mummy wasn't able to kill for you. Maybe I wasn't the best mother, but that I wasn't able to do it doesn't mean I didn't love... Oh, and then she ascended to heaven. They'd managed to arrive. Dragging their legs, pushing their bodies to their limits, withstanding the poison's effects, they'd reached the goal in time. Not a single word had been uttered on the way there. They couldn't say anything, though, not because of the poison or having to rush. Oh. What they found was ironically the place they thought they'd never see again. The Golden Jack, or a lookalike of it. It was a small copy of it consisting of the counter only. After everything that had just taken place, they didn't have the energy to be surprised. An Irish coffee and a Midori sour awaited them on top of the lift. With no time for hesitation, they drank them right away. Once more, the effects of the poison slowly faded away until they vanished. This time, for good. Oh. What's happened? Did we just break our chains? Is that what happened? I love that. They couldn't know for sure yet, especially after recent events, but they could somehow feel it. It was as if a weight that had been crushing their bodies for 10 hours had finally been lifted. Immediately after, they both fell down to the floor, completely exhausted. They remained there for a while, in silence, heads buried in their arms, still trying to come to terms with the long day they'd gone through, which still wasn't quite over. Were they truly safe now? Could they finally lower their guards and take a breath? Was that even possible for them after what had happened? No matter how much they tried to find a reason for any of it, nothing made sense. Who was the owner? Why had that game taken place? Why were they chosen? Why had Cigar been eliminated? The key to their handcuffs had been handed over, yet they still felt imprisoned by those questions. Nothing had been resolved. The exact opposite, actually. For how much longer would they remain there, unable to move? Without his rule, it was as if time had halted. Lost in the depths of the darkness of his mind, Bill thought that feeling wasn't too different from death. Perhaps his life was over. But in that case, what's been the point of all those sacrifices? Coffee. Finally, words came out, albeit barely above a whisper. Nevertheless, inside a room where silence reigned supreme, where nothing produced a sound besides the two people within that was loud enough to be heard. Silence was the only answer, same as it had been when they first met, 10 hours before. But what was on her mind now? Was she feeling the same as him? If you don't want to talk, listen. The only way to escape from that abyss and keep his life going was confronting what he felt inside. Not just relating to the events of that day, everything. It was a confession. Under normal circumstances, he would never open up that way to anyone, but now he needed to. In a way, she had done the same before, so now it was his turn. This situation, these feelings, it's exactly what I've been avoiding for years. Not wanting to feel like this again. I didn't want to feel another loss. I feel like my life has been all about losses. I lost my parents, lost the one person I considered my brother, lost my only friend, and now this. Each one made my guilt bigger. I was able to overcome the first one because I know it wasn't my fault. I overcame the second one because I believe he's alive, even if we never meet again, but I couldn't help but think about how he must have thought of me. Why did he disappear like that? Why has he never tried getting in touch with me again? Maybe I relied too much on him. He left me behind because I only caused trouble for him. I never knew what I was to him, and I'm scared to find out. That's why I'm so much of a coward that I never tried looking for him. Being in the darkness gives me the hope that I'm wrong. I tried learning from him, mimicking him. I managed to get my first friend, and with him I have no doubts. I failed him, I disappointed him. Because of me, he almost... But he's alive. I was able to avoid suffering the consequences of my actions again. I was able to go on. I thought that by embracing a stable life where I didn't have to depend on anyone and nobody depending on me, nothing like that would ever happen again. And now I relied on you, and everyone else. I failed. Even worse than that. This time I do feel like my life ended theirs. I thought that if that happened, I couldn't keep living. But here I am talking about it like it's no big deal. I don't have the guts to sacrifice myself, much less committing suicide, so my only option is to move forwards. I'll get up. I'll get out of this room and then this place. And then I'll keep living my life. The thought of it alone makes me... So what? I love coffee. You want my sympathy? You got the wrong person. You should have saved Piano. No, you... I got what I wanted. Now I'll be able to see him again and resume my life. The deaths of some strangers don't matter to me. No, stop the lies. I know that's not what you think. You're not the cold person you think you are. If you were, you would have left already. What do you really feel? I don't know. I don't understand this feeling. I didn't know any of them. I barely know you. I'm not even capable of shedding a tear for their deaths, but... And I don't feel guilty for this game. I'm another victim, and yet... Although there is one thing I do feel guilty about, I made a terrible mistake. I hurt someone badly, and now I'll never be able to apologize to her. Don't ask. I don't want to talk about that. My point is, for many years I hated the way I am. I felt I was really missing something. There was something wrong with me, like I had no heart. Even after finding love deep down, I've still hated myself. I know I'm as human as everyone else, but if I can only interact with one person and barely at that, if I rely too much on him, this game has showed me that there's hope in me, despite the hardships, despite the mistakes. I'd rather cry like you and let all my feelings out, but maybe this heart-rending, This heart-rending, bittersweet feeling is proof enough. I wish bonding with others was easier, less painful, but I can't escape back to the ease of solace now. Life that appeared to have been lost forever returned, albeit slightly, to Billiard's eyes. For the first time, even with all that had happened, he was able to see Coffee as a genuine ally. Not in the game that was already over, not as a deal of mutual goals between two strangers purely for their own interests, but instead of as someone with whom he truly felt a bond. Something unlike love or friendship. The only way he could describe it was remembering the feelings he had that day many years ago when he met that teenager that saved him from the depths where he'd fallen. This time, however, he wouldn't let it be one-sided. Both had ended up in what felt like the worst moment of their lives, in a despair they couldn't put into words even after having survived. They were the only survivors, the only two left who had lived that day. No one else could share their experience. For that reason, they had to work together, again, pulling each other until they came out of that hole and took back their lives. Still, he couldn't view her as a sister either in the same way he'd seen him as a brother. He didn't want to make the same mistake. He wouldn't see her as someone superior to him but an equal. And for that, the first step was... I'm sorry if it seems a bit out of nowhere, but I need to say this. What's he gonna say? Huh? Huh? Oh, he said his name? Oh, okay. You? His name. The game was done. Billiards and Coffee had to die, so their real selves could take their place. Oh, she said it as well. Oh. Huh? This is gone? What's happened? Two names were exchanged. Names that only the two present could hear. No, surely the people behind that game were still watching, but they surely knew their names already. No one else needed to know. The names themselves weren't what truly mattered, but the fact that they had shared them. That could be the start of a friendship. Or maybe not. Though he didn't want to admit it, it would be hard to move on when meeting her again could only bring back awful memories. He wanted to believe in a future where that no longer could happen. Perhaps with enough time, many years in the future, they could meet again and talk casually about their lives without even thinking about the day they first met. It felt really far away, a dream that could be unreachable, but in that moment it was far from the most important thing. I have a question. What is it? When you asked me to tell you my plan to win, I wondered what made you change your mind. That was... After Vodka's death, you said that you had realised a few things, but that you'd tell me once we escaped. Oh. You've more memory than me. Right, now I remember. Before he passed away, Vodka told me about his life. Even though it wasn't a bad life, he wasn't satisfied with it. It had been too ordinary, neither good nor bad. It made me think of my own. I feel like if I keep going down the path I took when I started living on my own, I'll end up like him. Nothing wrong about a normal life. I wasn't unhappy, I think. There's plenty of people worse off in the world. I thought I didn't need to aim any higher. But maybe I should. 8 people lost their lives today, yet I still got mine. I can't let it go to waste. And on top of that, I've realised that the peaceful life I made for myself, it was to run away from the people I'd lost. I didn't want to lose anyone else. It's not a peaceful life. It's barely any different from being a hermit. I'm familiar with that life. I also thought I was happy alone, Until I met him. Right. I haven't met anyone like that. Not sure if I ever will. You're too young to give up. It's not that. To be honest, I've never had any interest in love. Huh? I thought it was because I barely knew anyone. With practically no friends, it's not that surprising that I haven't found love. But I'm not sure how to put it. Basically, I don't feel the need for it. But after meeting Lime, Vodka, you, I can say that I missed having a friend. As the days and the work hours went by, I hadn't noticed that. To lose someone again, this time to death, almost broke me for real. If I hadn't felt the duty to stop the killer, maybe I'd have wished to go after them. But as crazy as it sounds, I think this pain, this sense of loss, is better than feeling nothing at all. It's better to have something to cry about than nothing at all. The people I lost in the past are still alive, or at least they should be. I only lost them to fear. Fear of being rejected. They haven't tried contacting me again because they don't care about me. Though I haven't forgotten their names, I'm not sure I'll ever be able to find them again if I try. That was my excuse for not trying. We all have our excuses. Sometimes not even recognizing them as such is enough. They still remembered Cocktail's words. I know I'm lying to myself. However, I know just as well that that's what we as people do all the time. You can try if you feel ready. Otherwise, you can find new relationships. They don't need to be romantic, in fact. I'm on the same boat, without a single friend. But without being able to understand others, I'm not sure I... Believe in yourself. Even if it's tough, I think you can do it. Thanks. The mood had improved. Perhaps there was hope left, despite everything. Perhaps they could overcome that nightmare. However, he could still feel stares on their backs from the ones who were no longer there. Those he wasn't able to save, even though villains like Poker and Cocktail had sacrificed their lives for him. If they'd been capable of it. Were she and him the real villains? What's this little bit here? Is that the bar? Oh, no. That was what the owner wanted. He had to ignore the devil's whispers. He couldn't escape from those feelings of guilt, but he couldn't let them take over his life either. He would carry them on his shoulders forever. He would carry them on his shoulders forever, a burden but one that wouldn't weigh him down. The mistakes of the past, everything we've lost along the way. We can't change it. Some things will never come back. But we need to keep moving. Sorry, I had to say it out loud. Do you know what's the first step? What? Getting up and out of here. Let's go. Are they gonna leave? Was it a happy ending? No. Was it a tragic ending? Yes, but those were the wrong questions. That was no ending. Their lives would keep going. It was in their hands to make sure that when the end really came, despite all the bad times, the journey had been worth travelling. More corridors. Did we do it? Oh my god, we've done it! GJ Staff, that's my initials, so I'll take the credit for that. Good job, Toriv. Dejo. Wonder if there's a secret bit at the end. Billiards flashback artists. Sona's Vitae. Great music. Alvaro Soares. Is that how you say that? Suarez. Soares? Suarez. Raven! So they're free? Now introducing the promoters. The Employee of the Month. Is this part of the Kickstarter, was it to have your name at the end? Oh. Employees Kickstarter. Bad player. I got the bad player ending. I know that name. Soul Hearts. Tony. I mean, half a mind to skip this, but I feel like we should give them their moment in the sun. Additional testers. Recognize that as well? Do I recognize that? So so there's more to be discovered, right? So is there more within the alternate endings, or is there something I've missed, or is there more to come? And me! That's me! Exit. Oh, we're leaving! What's in those other two doors? Huh. New stuff. Oh. Oh. Are you hearing that, or is it only in my head? No, it's real. Someone's coming. The footsteps were coming from one of the nearby doors. Was the owner about to show up to congratulate them in person, or to kill them? Both seemed very unlikely, but what else could it be? Is it going to be Darts? Is Darts going to be there? The answer appeared seconds later. The door opened slowly, and from it, it was Darts and everybody else, and it was a big prank. What was behind the door? It was Piano! I knew he would be dead. He fell from the door. And so the death game came to an end. Us three survivors left that place as the winners, though we didn't feel that way at all. Right, so is that why Cigar died, because Piano was still alive? Interesting. Us 3 survivors left that place as the winners, though we didn't feel that way at all. On the way to the outside, Piano told us everything. Everything he knew, anyways. His story immediately explained how he was still alive, but the biggest mysteries remained. Who is the owner? For what purpose was the game made? Why were we chosen for it? We received no answers, but we did get our lives on the outside back. I guess that's good enough. I kept saying it would be during the game. The truth didn't matter to me, only our lives did. And it's true, as much as I'd like to find out the answers, I want to look forward to the future. I want to know the answers. Tell me the answers. I'll never forget that day. I hope the police find the perpetrators one day, but my involvement in it is over now. Am I happy now? I think I'm getting there. The memories and the small feeling of guilt haven't gone away, but little by little I'm being able to sleep again, as well as my will to keep going and live. Besides taking back the life I had till now, I feel the need for something more. Something to really make me feel proud. Something beyond R. I don't know what this is yet. I don't know what that is yet, but I intend to live until I find it. I'm not alone anymore. Will I be able to keep that this time? Only time will tell. Meetings and partings, if that's how life is, I'll make sure to treasure the present and fight for the future. That's my promise. And my conviction. The end. Le fin. Rule Ripper. Rule Ripper. End. Game over. Restarting. Shift. Golden Jack open. Welcome players. Viewers assignment start. Dark data randomizer start. Huh? What's going on? Was it a simulation? Why is this different? I hear something. Music. At this hour. For starters, what time is it? Wait, I don't remember going to bed. Don't tell me. Oh, fuck. Huh? This place. Where the heck did I end up? Is this a dream? No, it's a bar. What? Beyond R Rising Revolt? Is that the sequel? What does that mean? Welcome and congratulations, you've reached the end of this story. This would normally be the time where I comment on what just came to pass and my opinions on it, but this is a special occasion. After all, this isn't even a bad end. Or is it? It's not ideal, clearly. I could talk about that for some time. However, doing so would take away some of its value. It's best to let you make your own conclusions without me influencing them. Therefore, my duty ends here, for now. We will see each other again someday. This isn't the end, as you saw. If you're interested in learning more, there's a special message for you. But after just going through the finale, perhaps you'd rather take a break. Your choice. What time is it? Are we going to be doing this next time on Borderline Games? Toriv, are you there? How long is this extra? Is this 30 minutes? I suppose I could do this extra, and if there's more endings for me to cover, I could do that as well. You know what? I think we'll do this extra next time on Borderline Games. Thank you so much for watching this episode. It's like 5 to 10 minutes, you promise? 5 to 10 minutes. 5 to 10 minutes. I can do 5 to 10 minutes. Let's do it. Go to extra now. What is this? In that case, now it's their turn. Apparently some rules want to celebrate your victory from the beyond. How interesting. Let's see what they have to say. Now begins Beyond Rambling. What is happening? New segment, Beyond Rambling. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. Who's this? This is Beyond Rambling, where a small section of the players talk about the events so far from outside the story. Outside the story? Which means that you shouldn't expect anything serious here, or maybe you should. Who knows? Either way, what follows isn't real. Remember that. Now let's introduce our guests. Get ready, here comes the first one, the intelligent one with a sense of humour, the lovely lady, the cool girl taken away from us too soon, Jin.
What's happening? Wasn't expecting to come back, but here I am.
Give a round of applause, Jin, we love you. An autograph, please.
Yeah, go to the next one.
As the second member of this, whatever this is, we have the life veteran, the master of cynicism, the Gramp to end all Gramps, Vodka.
So you won't let me rest in peace?
How did he sound again?
Fine, here I am. I'll try to not fall asleep, or dead.
Good old Vodka humour, a classic. And finally, the last member of this particular trio, the charismatic, life of the party, aspiring comedian, Lime. Who happens to be me. Oh, I'll change my voice. Thank you. How did she sound again?
How humble of you. Super humble.
Ouch, so much sarcasm right off the bat. Is that how she sounded? Come on, brighten up those faces, or I'm too happy to we're seeing each other again.
Nah. Well.
Come on, be honest. Don't be a tsundere.
Can't deny that I kind of missed your high spirits, and honestly, I feel bad about having failed you. You and everyone.
No, don't make me tear up so soon. I wanted to stay positive.
Positive how? We died. Though in my case, that might not be such a negative. For young ones like yourselves, however, it's not great.
Exactement. We've been given the chance to be here together. I don't want to use it to be all sad.
I see you haven't changed whatsoever. We can't just ignore the facts and pretend everything's okay. You can't keep looking away. I was honest for a bit, now's your turn.
I'm so sorry, Ginny.
Lime. Ah, youth. So full of energy.
It's my fault if I hadn't...
No. Don't even dare think that. Even if you hadn't told me your number, an alliance between me and Poker had no chance of ending well. In the end, the main issue was not being allowed more than 3 winners.
But,
No buts. You already butted into me. It was my fault I failed to stop Poker. If I'd done better, you might have survived. I failed you.
Good pun there, but don't blame yourself. Poker's the only culprit.
Yeah, fuck it, it was Poker's fault. I can forgive him for locking me in the bathroom, because I basically sacrificed myself. How dare he kill you next? No, you're both wrong. The fault here lies with the wacko who put us into this mess. That man was, well... innocent isn't the right word, but he was pushed into it. In fact, his noble act at the end redeems him. Like hell it does. Sure, I admit his sacrifice is a pleasant surprise, but it doesn't erase his crimes.
Agreed. But the more I think about it, Grandpa's got a point. Poker didn't choose to be rule 1. Sure, he killed me, but I'm happy that he saved Billy.
So you're saying that you'd have killed 2 if you were 1?
No. I'd probably try to not think about it by drinking a lot.
That is what you did.
Don't remind me of my dark past. I don't even see myself as an alcoholic. But if I'd lived a worse life like his...
Our lives influence our actions, that's for sure. Knowing now what we know. I don't want to forgive him, yet I can't blame him completely either. On that I agree with the old guy. See? Sometimes I know what I'm talking about.
Sometimes, eh?
Anyways, getting back on track. No matter how much Poker's responsible, fact is that I failed. He beat me. And that led to your death.
You did your best.
I'm not so sure about that. I should have had a plan in mind for whenever I run into number 1. I had to improvise and it didn't work out. It couldn't have.
Your only mistake was doing a sacrifice like that, even if you couldn't win together. It didn't seem like he had bad intentions.
He didn't. Same as me. He improvised. We were both forced to play a hand we didn't like. I'd love to hate him fully, but I can't. He acted tough, but in the end he was just another victim of the game, and of life.
On that note, betrayal-wise, cocktails hurt more for me. I really wasn't expecting that from him. He seemed like such a nice dude, you know?
Appearances can often be deceiving. I'm as old as I look, but that bartender was hiding a sinister side. And he hid it well. This might surprise you two, but I think I'd rather forgive Poker than him.
Nani?
At least Poker accepted his role as a villain and didn't take the coward's way out. Not completely anyways. Cocktail knew perfectly well what he was doing, to keep his conscience clean, and on the surface he relied on Poker to do the dirty work, up until the end.
Yeah, I don't get it, but in the end, he sacrificed himself too. I can't really hate him, even though he played a hand on killing me.
That sacrifice didn't help much, though.
Alright, what the heck happened there in the end? My brain gets all wobbly trying to make sense of it. Why did Siggy die? How did Piano survive? Is he the owner or what?
Yeah, what did that mean?
Of course, that's why he was so cheeky. We got Piano owned.
Nice.
We had him right in front of us.
Sure, whatever you say, dear.
What is that? Gomin. But I can't think of anything. If he survived, he couldn't have been poisoned, right? Wait, what if the poison was fake all along?
I wouldn't have died then.
Shucks. Only other theory I've got is that the big bad was nice enough to not poison the kid specifically.
Yeah, not nice enough to not kidnap a kid in the first place.
Don't look at me, I have no clue. It's not as if the owner fellow seems very logical anyways.
No explanation makes sense right now. I doubt we'll get anywhere with our current knowledge. Too soon to cross out anything, I believe. Who knows, maybe he really is the owner, like a gifted child or whatever. Or maybe he's his son.
Oh, it could be.
Let's change subjects before these theories get more out of hand. There's still plenty of mysteries to solve, the biggest one being the ones related to the game's end. I have some thoughts, but they don't go beyond hypotheses.
That's okay, Ginny. We wouldn't want to give the audience too many hints, right?
Give me some hints at least, go on. What audience? Let's see. What else can we talk about? My passing, perhaps?
Now that you mention it, what went wrong there? It got a fatal case of Doki Doki's. Literature club.
Pardon me, I'm no doctor, but I'd say it's elderly folk stuff. I even managed to predict it on more than one occasion. It's the sort of thing that can jump at you at any time. That's life.
You're sure it wasn't the poison or something like that?
Who knows, but those symptoms weren't from the poison. I know from experience. That death looked somewhat peaceful, kinda envious, not gonna lie. Can't blame you, young lass. It certainly was better than yours.
Mine just sort of happened. I barely understood what was happening before I bit the dust. Not so bad, all things considered.
How about we stop talking about deaths? I'd rather not think about it. Otherwise, I might remember more than I'd like.
Agreed. Right now, we need good vibes. I wish Billy and Fifi is the best. Hopefully everything goes well for them out from here on out.
I hope so too. Even with my cold and literally dead heart, I must say that they've won themselves a good life after this. I hope the boy can forgive me for the burden I put on him. It wasn't just yours. He tried to carry the burden for all our lives, taking responsibilities for them, and as expected, it was too much.
He did the best he could, I think. I mean, I wouldn't have done any better, that's for sure. Blaming him for failing wouldn't be fair.
I told him again and again, but he didn't listen. Luckily, it seems that in the end he began to accept it. It's a good sign. We won't ever be able to know what their lives will become, but it does give me some peace of mind. Unbelievable. Gramps finally dropped the cynicism. Miracles do happen sometimes. Even the silent lass managed to come out of her shell.
A shame we barely got to talk, and what little we did, it didn't go well. I'd have liked to know her a bit more. Maybe next time.
Next time? Huh?
Yeah, who is this? It's the new mystery girl. Who could it be?
No clue. One thing's clear though. This is far from over. We're getting a second chance. Are you sure? What if we all get fired and replaced by new players?
Nah, the owner wouldn't do that. Right? You're right. Nothing to worry about. The Golden Jack will welcome you once more in this new start.
Now there's a disembodied voice.
However, this version of yourselves will not be the one to participate, but instead, the you from another path. One where the initial conditions are different. How am I not sounding? But, Shoto a minute? What about the new girls then? Doesn't that make us 11 players? You shall see in time.
Thanks for nothing.
Time? You mean it's 10 or 11 in the morning?
Good time to get out of bed. Are I still alive?
Anything else you want to add? Something that isn't a question or a joke? Please.
Sounds like I'll have to trust that the other me won't make the same mistakes I did. If the conditions aren't the same, there's hope. I doubt I'll act any different. In fact, even if the events change, won't I end up dying the same way if my body's the problem?
Ouch, that's a problem. Maybe it helps if you don't move too much.
Sure, I'll stand still the whole time, like a statue. That'll be fun. Might have been nothing more than bad luck. Who cares? Whatever it is, I'm already 6 feet under. No point in worrying about some other version of myself.
Me personally, I'm hoping that that other me, that isn't me, but she's also me, will do better than me, hopefully. But the real hope is on GG 2.0. You'll all see she'll kick the owner person's ass for sure.
Well, I'll do my best. You two seem to be getting along quite well. I didn't think it was possible for such strong bonds and friendship to be made in such a situation.
Yeah, friendship. Ginny and I are basically BFF by now, aren't we?
Beef what? Hello? Alright, that more or less covers everything we're allowed to talk about, no?
Oui, I think so. Let's just say it does.
Can I go back to bed then? Bed or coffin, whichever it is? Yeah? Great. Good night. Another path. Huh. I wonder if there's one where my life went another way.
Genie.
No, forget I said anything. I shouldn't be thinking that. Even if other versions of me exist, it doesn't change anything. This was my end. The only one I'll ever know.
Hey, if you ever want to talk about it, I'll listen.
I'd rather not talk about my life. You already know what it led me to.
Are you talking about that piece of data, that Billard?
As part of it, and during my last talk with Poker, a slip of the tongue revealed another part. This was my punishment. Well, at least I won't be lonely here. Not sure if we'll be stuck in an eternal limbo like this, or if we'll disappear as soon as this talk is over. But either way, I'm glad we could talk one more time. We barely got to know each other, and sometimes I wished I hadn't. But in the end, my time with you was one of a few memories in these last couple of years that can make me smile. So, thank you, Lime. Don't blame yourself for any of this. You hear?
I won't. If you don't blame yourself either. Whatever mistakes you made in the past are over.
Alright. It won't be easy, but it's a deal.
A story ends. Another one begins. Once again, congratulations for reaching this end. That might not be the right word for it, though this is still the end of this long route you've walked. Route, on the other hand, is the perfect word in this situation. I'm not the right person to talk about that, however. I have a note to read here. Let's see. I probably don't need to say this by now, but surprise! Rule Ripper is only a fraction of Beyond R, a third to be exact. This has been the grand ambition behind this project, behind this project since its inception. Inspired by my favourite visual novel, I wanted to make a similar story structure, 3 routes that are both standalone and intertwined. In other words, despite each one showing a completely different side of the game, each route is a pillar in which the following ones stand on, but on top of that, honouring the game's name, I wanted to go even beyond. Though I called them routes by genre tradition, they won't be DLC. The sequels, full games. Each route features a different protagonist and will be a distinct yet familiar experience in gameplay and style. Instead of a visual novel with 3 routes, Beyond R is a game trilogy. Depending on when you're reading this, it might not have been completed yet, though the general plot was planned long in advance. Each game's production won't begin until the previous one is finished. If the release of Rule Ripper is recent, you'll have to wait at least a couple of years before Rising Revolt is finished. This first route's development took a lot longer than expected because it began from complete scratch, barely any resources or team. It took years to kickstart it properly, literally and figuratively. Now having this game as a base with all its sprites, backgrounds and music, we have a big head start. That said, each route will have new songs, sprites and yes, backgrounds too. A lot left to explore outside the Golden Jack. Rule Ripper has been an experience full of highs and lows. There's been excitement, doubts, surprises, problems, victories. Now that I've gotten this far, I hope I'm able to tell the whole story. I must. And I hope you'll come with me to the end. I'll share previews with all of you as soon as I can. I have some plans, but I want to keep the other routes a secret for the first few months after launch. So, please, I ask you not to talk about them publicly until the time comes. Thank you for being here, and see you beyond. Toriv. I'm sure that's what you sound like, Toriv. This person writes too much. Before we move on, I have one more thing. There's still corners left to explore and endings to discover here, Now you can go beyond, now you can go beyond a few dead ends. You only need to ask me to let you in. Oh, okay. And that's not all. An alternative ending to the final hour is now available, but it requires 5 keys. Don't worry, I'm here to lend you a hand. What would you do without me? First off, you need to have reached the true end of this tale. You can cross this one out. Second requisite is simple. A specific choice in the last hour. Despite it taking place after the path splits, you need to have made that choice before. The last 3 are scenes. With these, you do need to make the right choices on the way to hour 9. I hope you know about the secret shortcut. Also, avoid altering any of the choices needed to reach the final hour. So which of those 3 scenes? Those that force Rule Bill to question his future choice. If you're not sure, consider what choice he needs to make in the final hours to change his fate. Let that guide you. That is all. Time to close shop for the day. Let's make a toast in honour of the future fruitful game and the souls of these yet lost rules. For the Golden Jack and for you. Alright. Oh, new music. This is nice. Okay, well that was another episode of Beyond Our Rule Repro. We saw the true ending. There's an alternate ending. Let's have a little look here, actually. So if I go on here, will it let me go on... Oh. Okay, hang on. Is it going to let me... click? No, I still need to unlock these, I think. Oh, hang on. Beyond. Unavailable Beyonds will be added for free at a later date. So these are things. Well, I guess we're going to explore these things later, next time. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Beyond Our Rule Repro, and I'll see you next time. Have a good evening. Bye-bye. Bye!